Let's forget about spreadsheets and budgets for a minute. What if the real key to mastering your money isn't about what you do, but how you think? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down the 3 mental shifts that can totally transform your financial reality. So, let's kick things off with a pretty wild question. Imagine you've got this internal financial thermostat. It's kind of set to a specific level of success, and your mind just works to keep you there. You get a bonus, you find a way to spend it, right? You fall behind on a bill, suddenly you're working extra hard to catch up. See, the real problem isn't your effort, it's the thermostat setting. And that thermostat, well, that's your money mindset. It's the whole collection of beliefs and feelings that are basically running the show of your financial life. But here's the great news. You can absolutely adjust it. Today, we're going to learn exactly how to turn up that thermostat using 3 really powerful mental shifts. It really boils down to these 2 fundamental mindsets that control our financial thermostat. A scarcity mindset is the belief that there's just not enough to go around, which turns everything into a competition. Abundance, on the other hand, sees a world that's just full of opportunity and collaboration. So the very first step to changing your thermostat is just recognizing which of these 2 mindsets you're operating from right now. Okay, so how do we actually start turning up that thermostat? Well, it all begins with our first big shift, taking back control of your most valuable asset, your focus. Every single second of every day, your senses are just getting bombarded with a crazy amount of information. You know, the sights, the sounds, the feelings, it all adds up to about 2 million bits of data. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose of reality. But here's the wild part. Your conscious mind, the part of you that's listening to me right now, can only handle about 126 of those bits per second. That is a teeny, tiny fraction of what's actually out there. So what does that even mean? It means your brain is a super powerful filter. It has to delete, distort, and generalize information just to make any sense of the world. Your reality isn't the reality. It's the 126 bits you're letting through the filter. And the most exciting part? You get to choose the channel. You can consciously decide which 126 bits you want to focus on. So how do you manage those 126 bits? Easy. You focus your energy on what you can actually control. Stop wasting your attention on stuff in that big outer concern circle, like the global economy or taxes. Instead, pull that focus inward to what you have 100% control over, your own thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. That's where your real power is. Okay, once you got your focus dialed in, the next step is our second shift, changing the meaning. See, it's not just what you focus on, but the story you tell yourself about it. This is how you start turning problems into power. Think about it like this. Events in our lives are basically neutral. Getting laid off from a job, that's just an event. It doesn't have any meaning until we give it one. We can decide it means, oh, my life is over, or we can decide it means something else entirely. Our performance, our results, they all hinge on which story we choose to tell. This one little question can change absolutely everything. Asking, why is this happening to me, makes you a victim, right? It's passive. But asking, how is this an opportunity, that puts you right back in the driver's seat. All of a sudden, a job loss is a chance to find work you actually love. A failed investment becomes a lesson that makes you a smarter investor. You shift from being a victim to being an active player in your own life. And this quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer just nails it, doesn't it? It's not about changing the world outside of you. It's about changing the frame through which you view it. And by changing the meaning, you change your emotional experience, your actions, and yeah, ultimately, your results. And now for our final and maybe the most profound shift of all. This is all about understanding the deep, direct link between your sense of self-worth and your financial success. This is where we go in and adjust the thermostat itself. Go on, take a second. Give yourself an honest number. What's the first thing that pops into your head? If you're like most people, you probably landed somewhere around a 7. We have this tendency to think, well, nobody's perfect, so a 10 is out. And I'm not the worst, so I'm better than a 5. Yeah, 7 feels about right. But here's the truth. The actual objective answer is 10. You were a 10 the day you were born, you are a 10 right now, and you will be a 10 for the rest of your life. Anything less than a 10 is just an illusion you've been taught to believe. You see, the big mistake we all make is confusing who we are with how we perform. Your core identity is always a 10. Your performance as an employee or a parent or an investor, that's going to go up and down. You can have a 3 out of 10 day at work, but you are still a 10. Your worth isn't something you earn, it's just who you are. It's inherent. And this brings us right back to our thermostat. Your identity, your sense of self-worth, literally sets the ceiling for your success. If you believe deep down that you're a 7, you will unconsciously find ways to sabotage any success that tries to take you to an 8, 9, or 10 because it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't align with your identity. To earn more, to keep more, to achieve more, you have to raise your identity to match the truth that you are and have always been a 10. So we've covered the 3 shifts: control your focus, change the meaning, and reclaim your worth. But how do we make these changes actually stick? It's not about a one-time aha moment. It's about conditioning these new mindsets until they become totally automatic. Here is a super powerful, practical exercise you can do to put this all together. First, just brain dump everything that's worrying you about money. Then, go through that list and circle only the things that are inside your circle of control or influence. For each of those circled items, reframe it by asking that magic question, how is this an opportunity? And finally, and this part is key, decide on one small, immediate action you can take. This is what moves you from just thinking into actually doing. And that one small action, that's how you build new mental habits. Whether it's doing this exercise every day or just taking 5 minutes to meditate on your 10 out of 10 self, these are the actions that build new pathways in your brain. You are literally actively conditioning yourself for success. So I'll just leave you with this question. If you truly, deeply believed you were a 10, what's one action you would take today that you were previously afraid to? Would you finally ask for that raise, start that business, make that big investment? Your answer to that question, that's your next step. Because mastering your money mindset isn't about becoming someone different. It's about finally acting on the truth of who you've always been.